I thought you were going to start. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. And welcome to this very special day. Today we have a treat for you because we have, as we say, if we had to be a bit fun of it, saying the big boss is in today. I am absolutely delighted for you to be hearing from Dr. Gary Samuelson himself, who is actually a PhD and an atomic physicist, and the man who I think maybe is the reason that all of us even know each other. I think that you are going to find something very interesting when you are listening to Dr. Samuelson, because he is actually one of the doctors that can talk to you, so you're going to understand what he's actually saying. And I think that is a huge advantage. So have fun, take some notes, and please come in when we're finished, because today is your chance to get some answers from the man himself. Gary?
All right. Thank you so very much for the introduction. Thank you for being here with us, Vicky. We always enjoy your presence. And I'm really glad, actually, for the examples of every one of you that I know, and many of you that I wish I knew a little bit better, of your life examples of how you've overcome difficulties and how you've achieved in this life. I have been thinking about these things lately. I think the natural course of life makes you think about things that you want to achieve in life. You think about things that you want to do, things the way you want them to be, and such. And as you get a little bit older, you realize you're running out of time, and it gets a little bit more urgent. And so today I'm going to let you go into my mind a little bit. I'm sorry for this, guys. I mean, I hope you don't go crazy, but I'm going to let you into my mind and how I think, and why, even why I believe that we needed to create a community is based on some of these principles that I'm going to be talking about today. So, first of all, let me just tell you a little bit of background. When I was about 16 years old, okay, and many of you maybe can remember when you were 16 years old. Life is really interesting. You're just discovering new things all the time, every day. One thing that you're discovering also is yourself. And as you start realizing, well, my beliefs, what my parents believed, what they went through, is that what I believe? Have any of you ever gone through that? Different perceptions and feelings that you have of life and what reality is are very poignant at that time. So I was starting to actually question everything. Says, is there a reality that really governs everything in life? And so this topic actually is about finding reality, what I call universal truths. I'm going to start my slide presentation here. And I hope that this makes sense for you, because sometimes when you view things from a different perception, a different angle, a different view, you get a better idea of, what your own reality is, what your own beliefs are and such. So I've titled this presentation Universal Solutions. And I hope that you kind of thought in your mind, well, universal solution to what? Because what does a universal solution mean even? I mean, what am I talking about? And so I wanted to kind of give you an idea of what my mind was going through. I realized there needs to be universal truths Universal truths are truths that are true regardless of your perception of them, possibly, if that's even possible. And we're going to be going into that a little bit today. These universal truths, if we can identify them and know what they are, they lead to universal solutions, which means, once we're given these truths, we then can use them to find solutions to our problems. Is this making sense to you? Is it this kind of, I hope that it is. And so the question that I had when I was 16 years old, what is truth? For me, it was, does God exist? Is the universe made out of physical laws that, govern everything? And what is my role in this? Maybe you think about, well, if all life happens to be predetermined by some great law, universal law, there's no reason for my existence. I mean, I was going through this. There's no reason for my existence. And why do I believe that I have self-will and self-control and that I exist independently of everything else? And that was my thought. Well, if God exists, he has to exist independently of everybody's perception of him. And that was a real eye-opener for me. So I became very hungry. I also knew that if physical laws exist, they have to exist independent of everyone's perception of them. And so I said, well, what then is universal truth? What is a universal truth? And so I was looking for those type of things. And I'll tie this into truths about, of course, the body and life, because I believe, I exist. And there's certain principles that make me exist and the reasons why I exist, at least in physical sense. And then there's a lot of unanswered questions as to maybe in a spiritual or a wider sense why I exist. But I love to think about these things. Okay, so you're going to be able to go a little bit into my mind, and maybe we'll be able to discuss a little bit of this together. Well, there's one guy, Isaac Newton, who was wondering about universal physical laws. So we'll start with those. Universal physical laws he found are like the laws of gravity. What does the law of gravity mean? Well, he said that if there are two bodies that have mass, that have substance to them, that there is a force of attraction between them. Okay, it's a gravitational attraction. And Einstein said, well, I don't think that the law of universal gravitational attraction applies to, lets us understand how a woman and a man are attracted to each other. So, that's a whole different set of laws, but that's interesting, to think about. This attraction exists whether I exist or I don't exist, I guess. I would say it's not dependent on my perception. In fact, here I would think if this body is the earth over here and this body is the moon over there, I can be sitting here on earth and I can look at the moon. And the moon is attracted to the earth. So I can, if I had to believe that, well, so why doesn't the moon just fall down out of the sky? And, and then there's ideas of like momentum and such that allow me to understand that the moon and all planetary orbits and stuff like that are based on this universal law of gravitation. And the reason that I stick to the earth also is based on this law. Okay. And if I'm here on the North American side of the Earth and I'm looking at the moon, I look at the moon and it's pointing this way. If I'm sitting here on the other side of the one, I look at the moon and stars and they're pointing the other way. They're pointing downward according to my perception. So, where I stand on the earth actually varies my perception. And is this a universal truth? I've been thinking about this a little bit. You know, there are people that are flat worlders and such. And I don't see how they could understand, you know, satellites and plane travel and how they make sense of everything and where do the ends of the earth? Why do we fly north if we want to go to Russia? You know, so the thing is, you know, these things are universal truths. So we're living, as far as my perception is concerned, on a little planet that's spinning through space, obeying the laws of gravitational attraction. And that's interesting. Okay. I told you I'm going to let you into my mind a little bit. I hope I'm not boring you too much. But the thing is, well, you know, how do I then perceive reality? And of interest to me is, well, okay, I have my senses, eyes, ears, nose, mouth. I can see things. Do you know how limited your perceptions are? I mean, just think about this. If you're looking at something, you may be able to focus at one thing at a time. And that thing is maybe a tiny little field of vision because that's where your clearest vision is. The rest of it's kind of fuzzy out there. Everything else in your world actually is pieced together in your own mind. You know, I believe that this room is the way it is, well, because I look around and then in my mind, somehow I draw all of the associations. I know where I am as related to everything else in the room. But my perception, my visual perception is only a tiny little sliver. And the rest of it is formed in my mind. These mental images that we have in our mind actually form our reality. And they're usually based on very limited perception, very limited view of things. And then as over time, we associate it with more and more things, things make more sense and such. This idea of association. But then you know, I started to realize that maybe there is a universal principle involved here, and that is of choice. I can choose what I believe. And I thought that's very interesting. So based on all of the things that I sense and I understand and the way my mind works, well, I can choose what I believe. And is that choice important? You know, it's really interesting because, you know, here's Judy. She might believe something much different than I, and her perception is different than mine. And it's very different, you know, and she's chosen to believe that way. I might be able to give her some of my perceptions, my such, and then she might choose to say, okay, well, you know, that makes sense. I think I'll believe a little bit of what you believe because, you know, your perception makes sense to me a little bit. So we kind of go through this together, and we can choose what we believe. But one of the universal truths, I believe, is choice. And that's actually one of the reasons I think we can't see God right now, because we have to be able to make a choice. We can't have an all-powerful being saying, this is the truth, boom, boom, bang. We don't have a choice then to believe, you know, any other way. And in fact, in this earth is a wonderful exercise, isn't it? I hope that all of you, you know, when you're alive, you start realizing this. This life is wonderful. In fact, we're living in the most wonderful epoch that has ever existed in the history of humanity. We have so much information coming to us from all over, everywhere. And we have to choose what we believe. It's not making it easy for us. You know, you look on the internet and you look at, you know, what your friends say, and you look at what scientists say even. And every one of us has different beliefs, and we put it on the internet, and we put it on our Facebook, and we put it on everything, and so you go through, and you need to, there's a lots and lots of information out there. So how do we know what's true? How do we perceive reality? And that's that's something that I wanted to go through this. So when I look at something, I try to understand the universal laws upon which everything is based. And of course, your mind can perceive reality. Your mind is also a beautiful machine, but it perceives reality a little bit different. This thing, for example, is not moving. These lines here are parallel to each other. Their magician really didn't make life happen out of nothing. Okay. These are all just perceptions that we can choose to believe or choose not to believe. But they so that our mind can trick us a little bit in our perception of reality and give us illusions. So the illusions that we have are that. Now I want to kind of center us back and start our public discussion on this a little bit, because whatever you believe, you exist. I think maybe believe that do you believe that you exist? I mean, this is The Matrix, which is a famous movie now. It was based off of this. Rene Descartes, a great mathematician, philosopher, says, "I think, therefore I am." Do you exist? And I think the answer is, I believe, yes. I choose to believe that I exist, and therefore I am. Okay, there you go. And each one of you, I believe that you exist too. You're part of my existence. You're part of my world. I can talk to you. I can interact with you. I love this. But how do I exist, and what makes me exist? Now we're talking about another set of universal laws that govern my existence. And so Judy, as a nurse, has been told that you exist because you have organs, you have cardiovascular system. Okay. And the cardiovascular system is it's your heart and muscular systems that contract and pump fluids throughout your body, blood. It's not the only system that pumps fluids throughout your body, by the way. There's your lymphatic system and other things that pump fluid. But the idea is that you're made out of a bunch of systems. Cardiovascular system, what is its purpose? You probably know. Well, we need to feed our cells. Now, our cells, do they exist? Okay. Scientists may say, okay, our cells exist. Here we see, here's a picture of our heart cell in a microscope. We can actually, look at these things with our own natural eyes. And here's a blood system, a couple of capillaries with blood pumping through them, and we can see red blood cells and other things that exist as they pump through these little veins. And they're delivering nutrients and oxygen to our cells. Do you believe that? Okay. And so the idea is, well, maybe one of the universal truths is that we are made out of cells. We're made out of trillions. In fact, if this is true, we're made out of trillions of cells organized into millions of different types of tissues and thousands of systems that are all connected together with millions of sensations and millions of signals running between us all the time. Isn't that an interesting perception? the Buddhists don't like to step on ants. But when you realize, what an amazing living system is just in a tiny little ant that you can barely see with your eye. These systems they exist that allow that ant to live. And you multiply that by many millions of times, and those are comparable to the types of systems that make you live. We're all made out of cells. We look at plants, they're made out of cells. We look at all of these things, and they're all signaling and all connected together. Our nervous system is an incredible signaling system that connects all of our cells together. We can perceive what our little toe feels like. We can perceive what, every part of our body feels like if you concentrate on it a little bit. Maybe you need medical science in order to understand, well, what does everything look like inside you? What is, how does it work and how does it do? Isn't that fascinating? Just the fact that you exist is an amazing fact, that all of these systems are working together in harmony and in balance. In fact, when you understand homeostasis or homeostatic balance, how all the systems are dynamically working together in order to make every other system work, it is absolutely incredible. You have been given a gift that surpasses any other gift that has ever been, I believe, and that is the gift of life. And not only the gift of life, but the gift of intelligence to be able to choose and to be able to understand and to gain knowledge about who you are, on any level, on a physical level, on a mental and emotional level. You can ask questions, and hopefully, you get some answers in your lifetime. So how do you like my little tour through my mind sort of thing so far? Should I continue? No. No, this is how I think. But it also gets me emotional because I realize when I see this how much I love life and how much I love you guys and how much I love the opportunity I have to interact with you and to be here. So, that is a wonderful, just a wonderful thing. So we're all connected together. We're connected together through a variety of different things. Now that we have the internet, we can be connected together all across the world. And that's remarkable too. I think there's a plan. I think there's a reason for all of this. And okay, muscular skeletal system, does it exist? I hope it does. What makes it work? We're kind of figuring this out. The nutrition and endocrine system, what makes hormones, what makes the different chemical signals that also, tell us the state of our body. What makes those work? These are really important because if you're imbalanced emotionally or hormonally, it can be terrible existence rather than a wonderful existence. We need to learn how to balance ourselves. And there's certain universal laws. Oh, wow. And so the question that I had when I was thinking about this is, what are the universal laws of health? And what do I mean by that? Okay. Suppose for a moment that you understood everything that your body did and how it works. How would you obtain health? it's obviously it's not an idea of understanding, because we're understanding more and more about how our body works. Do you believe that this is how your body works? Okay. Maybe that's part of it. I think it is actually that we form habits, and how we take care of our body and how we take care of our mind and such is also based on our own choice. We can choose that sort of thing. But if we choose to make ourselves healthy, I mean, does that make a difference? And I'm starting to realize through the medical literature that almost everything that really matters is based on choice. You can choose to die, you can choose to live, you can choose what you want to do with your body. And you're looking at the Olympics these days. They've made a choice and they've made it happen. So this is incredible stuff. I'm about ready to turn this over to discussion. So I kind of get ready. And so here is my first question to you. If you were to think about health, the state of your body, all right, I have a question. What would be a universal law of health? And that's what I'd like you to say. Not what would be a one, but what is a universal law of health. See if you can, come up with one. So go ahead. You can raise your hands. What would be a universal law of health? This beautiful machine.
I got one for you.
Go for it, Brent.
Okay, I'll start with that question you asked right there. Universal law of health. So what you think about, you bring about. And the comments I have on, the points you brought up was the first thing you talked about was gravity and that force of attraction. But there's also another law of attraction. And especially with us, spiritual beings and people, what you think about, you bring about. We are creators, and the things that we create in our mind, whether they're positive or negative, starts the process of creation. And then our creative subconscious mind starts to make that happen. Whatever we put in that subconscious mind, it starts to go after it. And it'll control your environment around you and your body, and bring this into reality. Well, and then something else that was very neat. The first time I've seen Dr. Gary get really excited. He got really excited when he was talking about, what we have available to us, the knowledge, the light, and the way he's looking at everything. I mean, the future, everything is exciting. And that reminded me of one of my clients. They were really wealthy people, and they gave me a book called The Richest Man Who Ever Lived. And I was on a cruise, and I remember I was reading this book, looking out at the ocean, sitting at this table, and it says, King Solomon was probably the richest man who ever lived. He was probably a multi-trillionaire in today's world. But then the thought came to me, and it wasn't in the book, but it just came to me. Can an average American or a person today, like all of us on this call, we are so far more blessed than him. Could King Solomon sit down at a computer and access any information he wanted on any subject more than you could ever read about? No, but we can. Could he drive his chariots 100 miles an hour to the next town? No, we can if we don't get caught. Could he eat anything he wanted from any of the different cultures of the world anytime he wanted? No, but we can. Could he flip a switch and air condition his palace? Could he flip in the summer, or flip a switch and heat his palace in the winter? No, but we can do that. Their lifestyle sucked compared to ours. And that's the way all the past kings and princes and queens of the past are compared to us in today's world, just an average person in today's world. I mean, we're incredibly blessed. And the part about you exist, you know, this is something that's really evident when you hear about all of these life after death experiences, thousands of them now, lots more are coming out. There's books being published. You know, Glenn Beck had some guy on that had just published a massive book. I'm going to order it here, you know, soon anyway, with hundreds of experiences, and all have similar experiences. You know, the hereafter is so vivid and bright, so much more color and everything than that we experience now. And you learn so much faster. It's like instant thought. And everybody's seeing the same kind of similar things. And it is peace and happiness and love. And you don't want to go back. Even all your responsibilities and loved ones and everything, you want to stay there. But most of the time they kick you back, you know. That's why we have these recorded things. But so that is another, you know, thing of where we exist, because we're not just these temporal beings. I mean, we are infinity, you know, no beginning, no end. And the last thing, well, no, and he said ants, and Buddhists don't step on ants, you know, because all life is precious. But when you understand that, you know, it goes on infinity, not just for us, but all life, you know, is on that same plan. Because, you know, every time we take a step, we're going to be crushing some kind of amoebas or some kind of life, you know, no matter where you walk, there is some life involved in that. But it's so much more than we can even comprehend, because we are not these little beginning and end temporal finite things we look at. It's infinity, and we have a hard time comprehending that. And that last thing, yep, you want one thing, law of health: what you think about, you bring about. So get excited about everything. Get excited about your life, your health, and everything. See what you want, not what you don't want. All right, that's my monologue.
All right, good. Really great way to explain everything. What you get what you want. Is that sort of your universal?
Yeah, that's one of the things all the
Truth,
MLMs, as they say, all those motivational speakers, you get what you picture, not what you want.
Yeah.
So picture what you really want. Think about, you know, you're going to create it. Whatever you're thinking about right now, you're going to start creating that.
Yeah.
So change what you think if you want a different reality.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I agree with that completely. I mean, this house, the blinds behind me, everything. Somebody thought about those, and they were created. Somebody did those things, you know, everything. So yeah, I believe incredibly. That's a great thing. It's kind of hard to. Well, I was trying to actually lean more toward the physical laws of life, or the physical laws of health, and related to the cells, of course, because we're here in a cellular health coaching environment. And I'm trying to tell you, you know, what was I thinking about when I came up with this program?
One of the things that Tony Robbins said in his course and stuff, and the scientists, they've done these big studies, and they've hooked people up to, and you probably know about these studies. They hooked them up to these really delicate instruments that, you know, hooked up your brain waves and everything, and the cells. And then they had the people sit and think all these dark, evil, negative thoughts, or even have them watch videos and stuff of that. And the cells all went acidic. And then they took them and they had them sit and just think beautiful, peaceful thoughts, even beautiful, peaceful videos and stuff like that. And the cells all went alkaline.
Mm-hmm.
And cancer, bacteria, and virus grow in acid. They die in alkaline.
Okay, great. So what we think, our thoughts, you're saying, influence greatly our physical reality. Yeah, wow. Yeah, Miriam, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Dr. Gary, you have a brilliant mind. Your mind is amazing to me, and I appreciate everything you said. So my question is, are you familiar with the quote from Tesla who said, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I was just thinking in my mind, if what I've been learning is that, and here's my spiritual teacher teaching me this, that we, all of us, are really spiritual beings having a human experience. So if we're spirit, we are spirit energy, right? And therefore, even what's physical is not physical. It's all empty space, 99.9%. Even my table is like empty space, which when I think about it, it just blows my mind. You know, how could I, being physical, I'm not really, I am really, truly a spirit energy. And so that's the thing that I would like to hear from you. What do you think about that quote, and how can a physical life still be really spiritual?
Okay. It's hard to define what spiritual is because a lot of people have so many
All right,
different
let's
definitions.
say energy.
But let energy I can define a little bit better as a physicist. Okay, if you look down inside what makes up atoms, you get protons, neutrons, and electrons and such. Those all are energy states that exist with certain frequencies, certain vibrational frequencies. And so all, if you want to talk about, well, why can't your hand go through the table if it's all space? You know, and the answer is, well, electromagnetic repulsion between your matter, your electrons, and the positive force. You'd have to break the bonds between the atoms. The bonds are formed through electromagnetic interactions. Electromagnetism, all these little electromagnets running around forming, these particles and such. If you look into quantum mechanics, you realize they're not even particles at all. They're all waves. They all have frequencies. Everything is a wave function. And so yeah. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, duh. Of course we're all energy, and that doesn't explain everything. I'd love for it to explain everything, but yeah. Let me try to focus us back into something that's a little bit more easy to understand, because the idea that we're made out of energy is very abstract. How can we then channel that energy? Maybe that's a more interesting question. And how do we do that? Well, it's wonderful. I believe in frequency medicine, by the way, because frequencies come out, frequencies go in. They somehow communicate. I believe in light communication too, because light comes in. It affects me, obviously. Sound comes in. All sorts of frequency and vibrational stuff come in and affect me. So yeah, I mean, duh. And so yeah. Here's one thing that I kind of wanted to let me to channel this discussion just a little bit. When I'm talking about physical laws, I'm saying, what things do we need to be healthy? Otherwise, we'd die. What are some of the things? Okay, we do need, let's talk about elements. Talk about atoms. I love to talk about atoms. I'm an atomic physicist, so okay. Let's talk about atoms. And what kind of atoms do we need in order to be able to survive? Now, go ahead, Judy.
How about good nutritional atoms?
Aha. Okay, great. Okay, how about those kind of molecules, those nutrient molecules?
Nutrient, yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, so that obviously those have to be part of the universal law of health, meaning your body, your cells need nutrients. It's the reason we have cardiovascular system. Okay, Sarah? Sure.
Water and sunlight and air.
Okay, water. Yes. Energy or sun. Yeah, correct. Air. Air is made out of mostly nitrogen and oxygen. So we're a little bit more tuned toward the oxygen side of it. Yeah. If you I've said before in my classes, if you doubt that oxygen is a law of health, well, stop breathing for a little while. See how healthy you are. Yes. Yeah, you'll be thoroughly convinced in about 1 minute or so that how oxygen is absolutely essential part of your physical health. Yeah. Good. Yeah, okay. Exactly. So water.
Nutrition.
Nutrition. What else?
Right, didn't
Exercise.
Okay. Now you're starting to get into my mind a little bit. Why do I think that these are universal physical laws of health?
It's something everyone can do.
Yeah, they are. You don't live without water. You don't live without oxygen. You don't live. Those are physical things that you need to have in order to live, for this machine, the beautiful machine of yours to work. So here's my question. Why don't we understand that? When a car
Because
is
not everyone has been on the cellular health coaching program.
Yeah, okay. That's right.
No, I'm serious.
Oh, yeah, well, I am too.
Okay, we're both serious.
Yes, I believe, in fact, I know that the solutions often do not lie in medical science or knowledge of cells or something. They rely on our daily habits, how we treat and how we work with the body that we have. Education. And I ask the question, how much can we do with just education as far as our health is concerned?
We can step milestones.
Yeah.
But why not go back and ask everyone who's here? You were talking about truth. What is your truth? You that are here, what's your truth in the matter of staying healthy, taking care of your body? Do you know what to do? Because if you don't and you're interested, I can only urge you to have a thought and think maybe I should take a course with Dr. Gary and find out more.
So education is the key. My interesting thing is, well, how about all these hundreds of years of medical science? What kind of things have they given to us? Okay. If you know exactly how a car engine works, but you don't supply it with gas or with water, what's going to happen? I think when a car engine stops working, you might want to ask the question, well, is it gas? Is it water? Is it something that I need to supply? I mean, what I call the universal truths of a car health. So you might want to think about that. Here's my thoughts, and in fact, I know a lot about these things. In the United States, according to some, 75% of the people suffer from chronic dehydration. How much water do you need to drink a day? what kind of water do you need to drink a day in order to hydrate your body? Medical science is very clear. We need electrolytes and we need H2O. We need natural water, the same stuff that's in that or used to be in nature. You put that in your body in about 15-20 seconds, all of that's going to go into my cardiovascular system. Almost all of it will be absorbed through my mucous membranes into my cardiovascular system. It'll increase the volume of my cardiovascular system. It'll decrease the contaminants and help the blood flow and all of those sorts of things. Those are universal truths that have to do with hydration. Here are a few other things that are actually true. The stuff that we take, medications, laxatives, steroids, carbs, pizza, absorb that water from our body and can cause dehydration. Okay. Now, here's another thing. I'm going to just go quickly through this because I just wanted to I mean, if you have any interest whatsoever in the importance of hydration, you can go simply to, let's see, let me look, Google. Oh, I was looking up these guys before. Google and just say hydration and headaches. Okay. I'm going to look at everything here. Dehydration-related headache happens when your body doesn't get enough fluids. Even mild dehydration can cause a headache. So the next time you get a headache, what might the problem be? What's the solution? In fact, water is a universal solution to most of our health problems, or a great deal of our health problems. And all we need to do is get in the habit of drinking more and preparing and drinking more water throughout the day. Period. Cardiovascular health important. I mean, will this increase cardiovascular health? Okay, well, let's look that up. Hydration. These are not, what I'm trying to say, these are not cryptic. They're not secret. But they're not very well known. Okay, your body can pump blood more easily. Good hydration may reduce long-term risks of heart failure. And you get all sorts of interesting articles here. Importance of hydration, cardiovascular health. There are studies which say that 22% of cardiovascular disease can be prevented by good hydration. We've gotten rid of the world killer, one of the number one reasons for death and suffering in this world is because we haven't learned how to hydrate ourselves. So that there's certain universal laws that apply to ourselves that if we were to understand them and put them into practice, that we could actually improve. And I'm just talking about water here, by the way, that there are other universal laws. And so, all right, I'm going to turn it back over to you and then get some comments and to see if you can think of other universal laws and why. You know, Brent was saying something beautiful. He was saying, your mind, what you believe about yourself. Okay, so let's turn it back over to you guys and let's see what you
feel. Gary?
Yeah,
I want to talk about water a little bit too, but I want to first talk about what Miriam said about the secrets of the universe, the energy, frequency, and light. You know, quantum physics, that's my big interest right now, because that's really the power that's going through everything. They're looking at everything. But You know, it's talked about the light of Christ, that everybody's born with that. Most people call it your conscience, and that's light. That's information coming in. You know, the quantum physics talks about enlightenment from the Eastern religions, and the intellect's infinite intelligence, and the Christian world, the Holy Ghost. But that's all frequencies and light and information coming in. You know, and water is so much more powerful than just, you know, the fluid and the oxygen into our bodies and stuff. And, you know, if you don't have enough, your heart's a pump, and it's trying to pump sludge, you know, through little vessels, and it makes high blood pressure and makes your headaches and all that kind of stuff. But if there's enough of it, then you're pumping fluid, so everything's flowing much better. But more importantly, this is the quantum physics of it all. They've done big studies with this where water carries information, intentions. And they've done that with people. You know, when you pray over your food, they can see it change molecularly. When you sit and think about it, and looking at just the water, it changes the chemicals, it changes the structure when they freeze it and they look at the crystals and the way they look. And so our bodies being 70% water, you know, when our intentions, our thoughts are affecting all of that. So we got to be so careful with how we think. That is a critical part of our health.
Ooh, I love that. The water part, and also the critical part of your health, mental health. Okay, we're running out of time here, but let me just touch on this really quick. Some people say there's only 3 states of matter: liquid, solid, and gas. Okay. And then somebody's told me, oh, wow, there's 4 states of water. They found four states. There are actually more than 20 or 30 states that we've counted of water. 30 states, different states of water. And that doesn't even include how it interacts with their different biomolecules. When it interacts, it changes state too. In fact, water changes state no matter, depending on what environment, what it's around. And it forms clusters. So little water molecules stick together into clusters. And that forms a different state. Every one of them forms a different state of water. And let's see, water also around your mucous membranes and stuff forms different states, which help the body and all of the things function, right? So depending on the temperature, not only temperature, but the location and the environment of the water molecules, they change. And now we are saying even thoughts. Well, I don't understand that. Honestly, I believe in prayer very strongly. I don't understand how it works. I just can't understand how it works. How does somebody process billions of people's prayers? I don't know. But you know, the thing is, you know, that these things, they're fascinating. Water is fascinating. A very, very simple component of life. So if we were to let me just really quickly go into this extension of the water idea. If water is such an important molecule to life, and understanding just simply how to prepare it and drink it can get rid of so many of our physical ailments and problems, and prevent and also solve their different health problems. You know, if that's true, if you believe that's true, then why don't we? Why don't we do these things? And you go ahead, Greta, please. Could you unmute yourself, please?
No, you can hear me.
Thank you.
Why we don't do, because we have a gap between what we know and what we do. And that is in our unconscious mind. So we've got to do something about that. And that is, for me, the tricky part. because it's an exercise and it has to be done. So I could, for long period of time, don't drink what I know I have to drink. And I really know the difference, totally the difference when I really drink the water I need to drink and when I don't. And I guess that it has been the root cause of all the physical, what do I say, not necessarily diseases, but yeah, disease I had all my life. But I still don't do what I know. I mean, yeah. To do
Okay.
this.
Yeah, I'm going to ask Uni too. Then, Greta, thank you, Greta. Yeah, my question is kind of like, why do we let that go? Uni?
For me, and I guess for also many others, it is a difficult. It's something difficult called consistency, because if it is hydration, if it is nutrition, if it is exercise, if it is meditation, if it is whatever, if it shall work, consistency is necessary. Otherwise, short periods and then a long break, and then again a short period and a long break. So that is the main thing for me to train. That is the consistency in everything I do.
Okay, beautiful. Consistency leads to habit, and habit leads to you know, almost physical truth. My wife says, wash the dishes after every meal. You know, and if I leave the dishes in there, no, wash those dishes after every meal. Well, what happens? I have a beautiful, clean sink rather than a sink full of dishes that are moldy and ugly and smelly. That's what happens, you know, and it's a habit, I guess. Yeah, Brent, quickly.
Yeah, quickly. What you were saying about water and curing most things. There's a book called "Your Body's Many Cries for Water" by Batman, and he talks about in a concentration camp, one guy just with water cured most of the illnesses and sicknesses of all the prisoners just by using water.
Yeah, great.
I know that guy. That was I have that book. I thought of it, and also about Emoto and this with alkaline and acidic salts. So I think it's so fascinating that we can now more precisely find out what's going on. So I'm happy to be here. So
Oh,
thank you, Brent. Yeah.
glad you are, Leila. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, light. It's so much about light and frequencies. So this with procrastination, we need coaches.
Yeah.
No, not read all the books. So I try to find a rhythm every day, and I don't punish myself. I say 1% better every day, and observe my thoughts. And I'm not so clinging so much to my impaired hearing, but it's still interesting. I heard something about Chinese medicine. Maybe Brent knows, but I was at a meditation yesterday on Zoom, and a lady there said that the hearing was linked to the liver, and I checked it. I didn't feel right about it. I think it may be a vision, but so we need to. I think we should have little health groups locally and just check. You know, when people in old age people's home, they don't get water to drink. When I was young, we had a checklist that they got water, and it's so miserable. And we have the knowledge. My promotion is that you start with yourself and do something every day and consistency, and make it fun. And celebrate when you manage something.
Great. these are things that we can do together in a community. In fact, when I mentioned, why not? Everybody, a little cloud falls over everybody. Oh, I know that I'm supposed to be doing this. I know, but why am I not? And so that's true. But in a community, in a society, I think that we can manage this, but it requires community. So, okay, if we get a community that will check up on each other, here's Layla saying, hey, I don't like to be by myself. Nobody does. Prepare water. And if you have somebody calling you every day and saying, well, have you prepared your electrolytic water? Use a pinch of quality mineral salt, some fresh lemon drops, and then prepare 1 to 3 liters a day. Great. Those are things that we can do on a habitual basis. And if we do, and if we can get people in our community to do that, our community can and will experience the benefits of obeying this natural universal law. So that's what I call the universal solution, is not only understanding what kind of nutrients, what kind of things do we need for a physical body, but also forming a community and coaching that will help all of us to follow up with these laws and make it fun. Make great tasting recipes, make fun ways to do water, put stuff on Facebook, of how but much better you feel when you're drinking electrolytic water. There's so many things that happen in a community that make it fun and worthwhile. And I'd love this to be a worldwide community. Actually, if I could call it, I get rid of most of the medical profession and use them only for what they're good at, and that is saving my life in case I need it. And then for my health, I would rely on my community and the universal laws of health. That's what I would do. So anyway, we're going down. Here for me are the 5 laws. Now, these are universal truths of health: hydration, nutrition, exercise, respiration, and sleep. And you can try to think of another one.
Love.
But I think these are pretty inclusive. Okay, that belongs in the second. Yeah, thank you, Janaki. Those that belong, actually, there are 20 laws that I come in. The other 10 deal with human relationships. And Janica, I'm not good at that.
Gary, I have forgotten something.
I wish I was better. I wish I could use my empathy and my desire, because I really do want to make a difference in people's lives. But I'm not good at it. And so I need other people. So yeah, Uni, go ahead.
Yeah, I just have a question. You see, I have forgotten those 5-10 drops of lemon in the water. I don't remember why. I know of salt, I know, of course, but the lemon,
Yeah.
I always ask, why do I do this?
The citrates help absorption immensely. Not only that, they also get rid of some of the contaminants. They help your body get rid of contaminants. Vitamin C. So that's good.
Thanks.
Great. Belief and attitude. Brent said a lot about that today. I hope you can recall in your mind, everything is related to what you believe and your attitude. So maybe I don't understand all the universal truths, but if I just apply the ones I do understand, would be great. You don't have to believe everything you see on the internet, but you do need to apply everything or believe everything that you have in your own heart. And do that. Belief and attitude, learning, never-ending learning. Be excited about something new you learn every day. Your choice, we already went over that, is a universal law, I believe. Equilibrium and balance, that's the universal law of life, but it's also a universal law of mental and emotional health. You know, some people say, why do I feel sad? Why do I feel angry? Why do I feel hungry? Well, those type of things help you obtain balance. They tell you you're out of balance and you need to get back into balance. They're motivational. If you didn't have that motivation, you wouldn't get back up. You know, so that balance is very important. And action, of course, action. And nothing works without action. So all of these things, you know, I believe are universal laws. And now for mental and emotional health, you may be able to think of a few more. You know, I tried to make these absolutely general as possible. But what I do know that it makes a difference, it matters. So the universal laws that govern how you think, how you believe, and how you feel, and so are important to understand and important to do. So I can tell you, I was thinking about completely giving up on the CHC program, the cellular health coaching program. It's too difficult. I can't do it. I just don't have the physical, mental, emotional resources. I certainly don't have enough money to make this happen. And then to sit down with somebody on an individual, I can do that, and I've done that. I can explain technologies to them and save their lives. I've done that before too. It's wonderful. It's a great feeling. You know, but the thing is, you know, how can we do that? I've been thinking about that, and my heart will not let me give up. I just can't give up. As long as I know something, and I know something to be true, and there are universal truths out there that I can share with other people that may make a difference if they choose to let them make a difference, then why not do it? And then that's my ending comment today, you know. Well, thank you all. I'll take a few more comments. I think we're out of time, but thank you for your little tour through my brain, the way I think. I appreciate you being here and listening. Thank you. Yeah, a few more comments. And any more comments?
Don't give up, because
Yeah.
it's about stick to your knitting. Proctor said that. So and you need a team. So I think when it's very dark and you're about to, no, I can't do this. Well, you need to it's like a terror barrier. You need to push through. So that you say, so we are all there. We need to be humble and not age, nothing. So, and then I have something. Is there a law? I remember a long time ago you talked about vision and dream. To dare to dream. That's what I think we forget, and that it can be true if you stick to it. You have a lot of struggle, but you need to think that way. That's my word. I think we should dream and forget about too much fight. There's a lot of resistance. You have all the pharma industry, and when Brent is talking about light, we have a lot of light therapy, frequencies, everything. Well, it's a chaotic time, but it's fun. So dare to dream. So
I would please like, just for 1 second, to remind you all what a capacity we are in the presence of. And I really, really hope that you feel the gratitude and the information and the wonder of this world coming your way. And I can only urge you to come back. Come back for more. As Dr. Gary says, this is interesting. So for me, thank you for today.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Then we'll see you next week, Thursday at 9. Bring your friends. Bring anybody that you want to include in our discussions, and we will have now more stimulating and direct discussions on a lot of different areas of our lives. Thank you so much. Then
Love y'all.
see you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you.